The latest, well, last year, April 7th, Congress was about to adjourn. And they were talking about, well, they can't, on illegal immigrants, they can't bus 12 million people back to Mexico. And they figured, well, we might as well give them amnesty because that's the only two choices. Well, I wrote them on April 7th because it was about to be a repeat of 1986 all over again, with everybody granted amnesty and more people flooding across the border. And I suggested that they have adequate visibility, that an employer can cross-check to see if a person is using a Social Security card that's already being used in employment elsewhere, and that they can verify their citizen most readily. And then the employer, it would be more expensive for the employer to hire these people than not hire them. And I suggested one of the things they could do is not make that person's employment tax deductible, and there could be interest and penalties on top of it. And so as a result, all the employers are required to do this now on new hires, and then they can, I suggest they phase it in over 5 years. And then if the Catholic Church gets tired of feeding these people when they're unemployed, they will get themselves back across the border to Mexico because there's no work for them over here. And I think that's probably the fairest, easiest way of doing it. And I did propose that, and it looks like last week President Bush came up with a bill to lean on the employers that way. Over 5 years on the existing employees and no new ones taken in, and that kind of phases it out on a slow basis so the employers aren't caught short. And I think that's very, very workable. They'll have 5 years to hire new people or to invent and buy machinery to do the work, because it's quite a lot of this work is repetitive. The problem is an illegal alien comes over and he works in the farm or in the meat packing, which is hard work for a year, and then he goes on to other things like building construction or something that's more lucrative for him. And then they have to bring in a new turnover of illegal aliens. Every year there has to be a new flood of people. And that's not right. We got to put a stop to that. And if the employers can have the illegals phased out over 5 years, I think that'll work very well for them, and they can make alternate